Karen, take the roll.
Mr. Bale,
Here.
Mr. Copeland,
Here.
Mr. Drexel,
Here.
Mr. Horton,
Here.
Mrs. Showerman, here, Mr. Scatella,
Here.
Mr. Winarski.
Is there anybody from the public that wanted to comment? Anybody from the public to speak? Here or online, anyone from the public to speak? Hearing none. Moving on to number 2, ordinance 41, second, 2025 planning fund budget supplemental appropriation of $601,000 for Act 13 Greenways grant distribution. First read at our last meeting. Additional comments, questions?
Well, I believe that's money that we discussed that allows him. I think that's part of the lawsuit funding. And so I don't really want to spend a lot of time on it, but I just want to put that pin there. I would like to not to send our attorney to ask for the changes in it. So
for myself, I was doing a little bit of looking at this and I'm a little bit concerned too. $601,000, 100% of it goes to 14% by population for each of the locations there. And I'm a little bit concerned about that, but that's a separate part issue. All right,
Mr. Chair, yeah, once again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but council's really not in a position to vote for this or to approve of it. It's contrary to the law and the court orders that are outstanding right now. I'd suggested at the last time that, the only thing we could do is to go to court and do the same thing that we did with the stipulation in which council agreed to waive any argument for the few other items, including a few employees that the administration wanted to keep on through the end of the year. But aside from that, it's contrary to policy, contrary to court orders.
it should be struck.
No, I think it should be voted on.
welcome, Jim.
Hi, guys.
You're not too far behind. We just started on the item. Record to reflect Winarski is present. Moving on to number 3, mental health intellectual disabilities fund budget supplemental appropriation of $1.2 million for additional revenue for 2025. I think we have Mr. DiMatteo online. Speak to that, or somebody here that speak to that.
So yes, I'm online. Sorry, I can't be there with you today in person. For my team, I know that Shelby Carnes is in the room with you. The appropriation that you're looking at is really revenue that we have received during the year that was not represented in the previous budget. Some of it is carryover from previous years that was unspent, and the rest is money that we did not know we were going to have at the time that the budget was put together last year. And Shelby, if there's anything that you have in that, please add.
Nothing additional. Thanks, John.
It's money that we didn't know that we were receiving, or why wouldn't we know we were receiving?
So some of it, excuse me, Mr. Horton, it's money that was not known at the time that the budget is put together. So last November, when we send the budget to you, it's money sometimes that is carried over from year to year in a particular grant that we have. In others, for the intellectual disabilities money that is there, it is money that we had gotten through ARPA, and they have now annualized it and put it into our funds. We were not anticipating that at the time. It's for additional duties in which they would like us to carry out as the county office.
So you didn't just say that was ARPA money, did you?
Well, it was state ARPA money. It's not ARPA money that came through the county. So it was money that the Office of Developmental Programs had, and they had allocated it to us in a line. We were hoping to keep it, and they were able to put it into some additional services in which they would like us to provide along the way. So,
John,
so it's not,
excuse me, I'm all for money coming in. I love money coming in, something like that, but it's just mind-boggling to not know that that amount of money, or not to have anticipated that amount of money, or to not be expecting that amount of money, kind of don't make a lot of sense.
So,
It's not like out the sky. Was it a grant that we applied for, or just some extra money they had laying around? They said here, Erie County, or was it already here in Erie County and no one?
so we
just knew
did, yeah,
had
so,
not-
so we did get money. We did get money through the COVID years that was not known that it was going to be annualized. This is the annualization of that money.
Gotcha. So, and so there won't be any more money coming after, will money come in 26? The ARPA
It will,
money?
it will. It won't be called ARPA anymore. It will just be part of our money that we get from the Office of Developmental Programs each year.
Into perpetuity, or how, for how
Yes.
many?
Yes, in perpetuity.
You understand that, Colin? Thank you, Mr. DeMaggio.
Certainly.
Okay. Number 4, resolution appointment of firm to perform comprehensive single audit for Erie County and related funds for the year ending December 31st, 2025. Just for everyone's edification, we had set aside a committee to review the 3 proposals. We were supposed to set a meeting, and Kyle had indicated that he felt that with Mara Dussel being the low bidder, very good reputation, a lot of well-known clients, that he couldn't pick anyone other than that. And I think there was a genuine consensus among everyone that reviewed that that was the case. Any questions about that? Okay. Moving on to number 5, amending resolution number 12, 2012, previously amended by resolution number 26, 2015. Did you want to speak to that?
Yes, if council recalls, we had, it was discussed about amending this previous resolution to adjust the floor of the fund balance. To instead be covering 2 months to inquire to cover maybe 3 or 4. Now, the reason for this proposal originally was due to some concerns about where the county is and where it's been heading over the past couple of years. While the nominal amount of the fund balance, as in, let's say $100, has remained the same, the amount of money that dollars cover over the past years has been declining year over year. Your expenses are going up. We're not immune to that. Inflation is a thing. And as a result, it would be smart for the county to revisit that, what had in the savings bank. Additionally, that the county has 51% of its budget through state funding, which, as we know, with issues that have been going on with the state budget passing, or is a concern. Agencies recommend that states that rely heavily on state or federal funding consider having more fund balance or reserves, just in case something happens unexpectedly, like the loss of state funding due to delays in budgets, or the loss of federal funding. As we know, there's many cuts coming, and that have come already from the federal side of the government. So this resolution would effectively just adjust what we have in as a savings rate, or the amount of money we are required to keep in the fund balance. This adjustment would not cause any tax increase, as we have always historically have had this excess money in the fund balance already. So this is just adjusting that to make it an official savings rather than causing an increase directly from any need of taxes or anything of that nature. I can explain more if there's any questions on how this would look or what this would look like.
In my reading of the resolution, currently we have a 2-month standard. And then the resolve is amended as outlined on Exhibit A. And Exhibit A actually has 3 months or approximately 25%, or 4 months or approximately 33%. The Exhibit A does not define specifically what that So you're presenting an either or option that you could go
Yes.
for a quarter or for a third of the year?
Yeah, it's, I figured that, council would, it's best that you have two options and what they look like, depending on how, fiscally conservative or, what type of safety net that you want. Either option is good. It just depends on how much security you want, to have, as a safety net. So 4 months approximately being at 33%, or, the other rate of 25%. Both options work. Just know that if you go for the higher one, you'll just have more of a buffer, so to speak, in case, something were to go awry. But both options are functional. It just depends on how conservative you want to be.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
so Colin, to what extent would this impact the administration's budget?
So.
And its budgeting approach to budgeting?
So, we currently have the 2-month standard, and typically it says, at the end of these finance meetings, it says, we are X amount of dollars under, in compliance with, over the 2-month minimum, dollars in, dollars out. The administration would just have to complete its budget to make sure that when they do pass the budget, or sorry, not do pass the budget, when they propose a budget, that it would be in compliance with the new minimum. So if we say that the county must maintain 4 months of expenditures or 33%, the new budget would propose would have to reflect that.
Mr. Chair, I would like to change some of the language or add some language to this resolution, because it doesn't seem to articulate the reasons for the modification. And I think that the resolution should state those reasons. Would you agree with me, Colin?
Yeah.
They don't, it's just general language, but it doesn't say why council should at this
The
time.
exhibit, the actual exhibit does, it actually says it's aligned with national best practices. It talks about, us receiving a large portion of our funding as pass-through grants. And it breaks it down, over 50% of Erie County's revenue annually comes from state and federal sources. It tells you that GFOA recommends a minimum of 2 months, but for those who have that situation, such as Erie County, and receiving all the pass-through from it, it tells us that we should at least do 3%. And I don't know if you could benchmark some of the language out of there too.
Well, I think that's just it. The exhibit does mention a few things, but Colin just told us a couple of reasons. Now I think those should be in the resolution.
You've been here for how many years, Tom?
Almost 30.
Have we ever dipped into that reserve? Has that ever been an issue? Because I see there's a replenishment, 2 years, but have we ever even used it? Has that ever been an issue in your time?
We've almost gotten involved in it. I think that's what spurred the first creation back in 2012 of this policy at the recommendation of Joe Maloney. But actually seeing it invaded, no, I haven't. However, on the other hand, if you look around the county, every single facility and institution and entertainment facility has been funded by Erie County by the guarantee of the full faith and credit of the taxpayers of Erie County. And that's based significantly on the fact that we keep good records, good books, etc.
Paul, did you have something to add?
No, I'll respond in kind.
We're in a different dispensation altogether with the federal government and the 2027 implementation of a lot of the things that they just passed that are going to directly affect human services. And so I think it's wise to, I think it's foolish not to be thinking about those things for all of the reasons stated in best practices and beyond.
I agree, and I think that those reasons should be in the resolution.
I agree.
So if you don't have a comment, Paul, in the future, I'd appreciate if we didn't have whispering in the gallery. But what is responding in kind? What do you mean by that?
You'll get something.
What does that mean?
You'll receive something from us.
Is that like a mafia statement? Like what
What?
is that? I mean, what do you, I don't know
What
what
do
you're
you
trying to
say?
say, like an
What are you
email?
trying to say? You might get an email. There might be a memo come down.
Okay. But you don't have anything?
Nothing today.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
one question, I think before when we were discussing this, we're trying to see how the third-class counties in PA, where they were at. Whether they were at 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, did we get any of that data?
Yeah, I remember I spoke with Charlie, after he acquired, I think, if I recall, he acquired directly about that. Now, the surrounding counties, in PA, there's not necessarily a precedent that they have done something of this. However, other states, at smaller levels, have implemented similar programs, not necessarily to the exact of increasing their savings rate, but they have other programs out there that they almost create like a fund balance. Alaska has one, for example, and it's been done typically at smaller levels through basically endowments. Some school districts have something, but this would be more in line, I don't want to say at first, but I guess blazing the way on a county level.
So, I guess in other words,
The surrounding counties don't have a 3 month floor, but they do have policies that are just like 2 months, very similar, but we would be, increasing ours to a 3 months, but the surrounding counties also don't have the similar funding of pass-through grants as Erie County does, and near its size either.
Bingo, size matters too.
I don't think it's broken, is what I'm going at, but
Well, again, we're in a different dispensation, and that's why I agree with Tom to put those things in the resolution. I mean, they've already passed one law that's not going to take effect till 2027. They're going to directly affect people. You don't know how that's going to shake out. We've already depleted, I won't say depleted, but we've already used that fund, our prudent reserves. It's dramatically lower than it was 4 years ago. Likewise with the gaming revenue. And so while some people think it's a rainy day fund, we think it's a safety net. And it ain't like you're gonna lose no money by doing it. And I think wisdom just speaks better things.
Especially in the face of budget deficits at this state.
You said that they don't get as much as we do. We are a larger county, which is why we probably get more. But in percentages, did you look at percentages of what their income? I mean, it could still be 50% or 60%.
I don't have those
State and federal.
percentages. I could look at those to find the exact percentages. But I think one of the pressing things though is what I did find is that just at the rate of decline, I believe I have it in here that we started at 49% of our expenditures being covered in 2022. We're down to 42, which is proved with as of 2024-5. So that's what 9, 8, 7% decrease a year in a year's time, so to speak, or about 2 years' time. And that's a concerning trend because that means our expenses are basically increasing by 7% year over year, which is outpacing inflation at a drastic rate. And I mean, just continuing that trend going forward is alarming enough to just even build in that safety net alone. And with the current economic climate of how everyone is struggling, businesses are struggling, costs are going up for everyone, it wouldn't surprise me if that erosion is exacerbated by the current pressures across the country.
Could you check those percentages?
Yeah.
And I think that the takeaway from 22 to 25, 24, 25 as indicated on page 14. It's a clear sign that the county's fiscal cushion is shrinking relative to the size of our operations. So again, we draw from that count.
Moving on to number 6, resolution approval of extension agreement for 5-year.
Are you
Yes.
moving it forward then or waiting till Tom?
Yeah, I think that I think that you should table it. And Colin and I will work on the resolution.
Okay, so we're gonna pull the resolution for now
No, we could,
and bring it back at a later date.
you could do that, or you could just table it.
And then amended, pass as amended.
And then when it comes, and then we'll just do a new one, and then when it comes for the next meeting, you could just pull it and substitute this one.
Okay. So your
Substitute the
advice, your
new one.
advice is to table.
Pardon?
Your advice is to table.
Well, you know, it is a resolution, but yeah, I'd like to table it because it should get 2 readings anyway for something like this.
Okay.
And so it's out there, the public could see it. And then when we meet again, then we could, at that point in time, we could pull it and substitute an amended ordinance.
So on Tuesday, Mr. Chair, the clerk will read it into the record, we'll table it at that point, right? And then,
And at what point is the decision made as to whether it's 25 or 33%?
We could leave that blank. And
We
council could discuss it if
later.
you want to do that.
I think that's appropriate.
So,
Listen, I know you're gonna very get to the possible sale of the parcel, but Matt? Sure. Okay, so we've been, man, we took some fastballs down there at them last couple of Tuesday meetings. Them people coming in there hot, high and fast. And so I've been talking, I thought we should do something. We already told them, some of us, I told them that I'd be committed to looking at some remedies in the budget. But I thought it would be appropriate if we gave some feedback in a formal manner, in the form of a resolution. Okay. So we kind of prepared. Like to, if you email it to everyone, or like to get buy-in from everyone.
the draft that I wrote, I have not shared that. I can't.
So, having said that, Erie County Courthouse is symbolic, should be symbolic of blind justice, regardless of whatever the situation is. Marcello Woodard Coalition or movement or whoever, they've come down every week, high and fast. They know we can't do anything. We have 2 jobs. We do budget and policy, despite what everyone else thinks in the county. A lot is asked of us. One of the things that I felt is that it's a layup for all the humanity. Just want a transparent, thorough investigation. So I asked Rob, I threw some ideas out to him, and I asked him to prepare a possible resolution. Also, I'll say this, it was timely, I started talking about this like a week and a half ago. Since then, that coalition has sent forward a resolution that they prepared, which I'm totally, yeah, I ain't doing that. But they had some interesting things in there, and they should be considered. I don't want to set precedents on some stuff, and I want it to be something that's hopefully everyone's comfortable with. Well, share.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read this because this is something that we discussed and I wrote up and welcome input. And we're a bit out of order because we don't have this in the agenda, but
I'm gonna
just for the sake
absolutely
of
add-
conversation. What I had written as a draft says on July 2nd, Marcello Woodard was shot and killed by a state parole officer. Our society is made of imperfect individuals collectively striving towards justice. In the absence of divine justice, we must work diligently to overcome our shortcomings through exacting investigation, fact-finding, and due process under law. And still we have a need for some part of divine patience to see us through this arduous process. County Council affirms their deeply held beliefs in democratic process and ideals, first among those being the pursuit of liberty and justice for all. County Council oversees the financial and policy aspects of the courthouse where many pursue their justice. We don't play a participatory role in these proceedings, but it is because of our belief in the potential of the system to serve justice that we serve Erie County. Additionally, County Council remains committed to the pursuit of reforms required to provide relief to our community. Together with the community, we advocate for justice.
Right, want to add or take away? What do you think? Thoughts?
Well, first of all, what is that?
Hmm?
What is that? Who put it together?
Well,
And
Rock and I, we resolved, and then you can
Is
share
it a
the one
statement that you
that
intend to
they.
issue?
Resolution.
what was
Letter of
originally
support.
written as is a proclamation. Since the Woodard group sent their, I think everybody saw that in their inbox. Their resolution that they brought with more formal language with the whereas and therefore. I'm perfectly fine with rewording it in that kind of form. But it's primarily a statement on behalf of county council and our position and where we are. That we understand where people are coming from, but the justice process takes time. We ask for that time, and it's because we're here. We are here in the courthouse because we believe in the justice process of what occurs here in these walls. And then we're also committed to reform, such as one of the conversations that's come up very often is for our LEOs here in the courthouse to be suited with body cameras. The discussion.
Well, it doesn't sound like that statement is saying anything.
All it's saying is that we affirm the same thing that everyone wants, Tom, and that's, we want transparency and we want justice. We want a thoughtful, transparent, all it says is that we're committed to finding justice too. It doesn't point, do we have theirs, the one they wrote? Because it's markedly different and we tried to do something that everyone would be comfortable with. It doesn't say, it doesn't say anything when you say it doesn't say something. It doesn't say that, yeah, we're going to ask or for money for body cameras. It doesn't give details. It just, the county courthouse, again, symbolic as it may be, should represent blind justice. And that's up on the second floor, it ain't down here. But they're coming down here throwing fastballs every night. And in a good thing, nobody gets everything they want. I thought that the thing that they sent was pretty well put together, but it wasn't what I thought the council. You
I'm
know,
just saying that for me to even, advise on whether that statement is appropriate or not, I'd like to understand it. I don't hear it saying anything. Is there any, does it criticize the system for its delay? Does it promote?
I would say the call to action of this statement is that we remain committed to the pursuit of reforms to provide relief to our community. I think that is the action statement. We're not part of the process of determining guilt. We're not pointing
Yeah,
fingers.
but that's,
We're not part of the
saying
investigation.
that sounds like it's in a vacuum. I mean, you're saying that, but it's in a vacuum. What is it? Why are you saying it? Who's it? What are you saying it for? Are you saying it? If you're implying that the system is delayed, justice delayed is justice denied, then you should say that.
we're not saying that at all.
Right.
We're not saying that at all. We're not taking a position on, is it the investigation taking too long or is it too short? We're not taking an investigation, whether it's Marcello Woodard or anyone. We're
No.
saying that we're committed to justice. His name is with the catalyst for it. But from my perspective, I didn't think it should be all that detailed to give particulars about when he says reform. Okay, we're gonna offer up, we're checking to see how much body cameras will cost for our POs. We know that it takes 4 or 5 votes to do it, but we're committed to seeing the thing, to supporting all things justice.
I understand, Andre. It's just that I don't see where this statement touches anything close to this young man.
With the purpose of the first part that I was trying to make. If I, created the image, right, but not the knowledge of God. And if I had that knowledge, I could say yes or no, this guy was guilty. I don't have these powers and I don't understand, right? I don't know the circumstances of what happened that night. I'm not part of the investigation. And in the absence of omnipresent knowledge, we have to have investigations. We have to have due process, because we can't have just one person point and say, this person should X, Y, Z, right? So the point that I'm making here is that we're affirming that we believe in this system.
So is that the resolution to promote justice?
Not to promote, but to stand on, not promoting Marcella Woodard, not promoting the promotion on justice is we stand committed to watching this investigation work its way through, and we're committed to doing whatever we can.
But there's nothing in the
I
resolution that
think one
talks
of the-
about a situation.
I think one of the
There's nothing
biggest,
connect, and there's nothing
I
in
don't
that
think-
statement that
I think that was
connects it to
intentional.
Marcella.
I think that was intentional. I think if anything, you may not have, should have led with Marcella Woodard's name, but I think that was intentional. We're not
So what do
saying.
people say about that?
no, I think one
In
of
a
the
good
biggest,
negotiation, nobody gets everything they want. Where's his? Because I can read you his, the resolution that they put forward.
and there's
to-
parts of it that I would like to.
Andre, I think
quote.
you're misunderstanding me. I am simply trying to figure out the purpose. I mean, why would you make a statement for Marcelo that is not about Marcelo? Because there's nothing in that you said that has anything to do with Marcelo.
Principally, what, and I've been trying to get this in for a few months here, so let me get this thing. Principally, what they're asking for is a recognition of the tragedy that occurred. Regardless of the circumstances surrounding the shooting, a recognition that a tragedy occurred. Okay, the life of a man was lost in our community, and they would like that to be on the record, recognized that we are acknowledging that tragedy. One of the whereases that they had included in a draft resolution that was separate, went further to say that we recognize the tragedy that family is going through. We understand, they really, more than anything, want an affirmation from their leaders that we hear them, that we understand that they're going through a hard time. And that's one thing that I really do believe that is a low bar to satisfy. It is not hard for any of us to say it is a tragedy that somebody in our community lost their life.
Not at all.
Right, and it is not a high bar to say we feel bad for their family, that we know they're going through a hard time, and we understand. One thing that I wanted to connect to this in a statement, though, is to say that we are not directly involved in the judicial process. That we're not directing the DA to do any one thing or the other, or lawyers or judges, that we are external in that process. We're financial and policy only. That's the statement that Andre gave in the last meeting. Right? But to say we are committed to justice is why we're here. We wouldn't be here on county council if we didn't believe in this courthouse as a place for people to pursue justice. And I think giving that statement is the lowest bar possible that we could have to hurdle to give some recognition for the
The
efforts.
reason
of
why
people.
I took the letter that council requested that I take is because we all know that our words could be, and not even could, our words are interpreted differently by different groups and different people who might want to read into them certain things. And so we decided, less is better. Let's not get involved. Let's defend ourselves behind the idea that there's an ongoing investigation, and traditionally we never interfere with those investigations while they're going on. I personally sympathize with the family and this gentleman too. And if you look at the facts, it looks like without knowing more, it looks like the probation officer is guilty. I don't know that. I mean, we all have our different views in it, but there's his rights as well, and his family as well. And there's those things to consider as well. And I just thought that it's better that council does not say anything more than we are not poised to interfere in an ongoing investigation. Because if we go one way or the other, or imply one way or the other, then we lose the other party and we lose our credibility.
And there, ergos, the statement didn't imply anything one way or the other. As to your point, it didn't say anything except for, we believe that the county courthouse is the hallmark of justice. And there's 7 of us individually or collectively. We want the same thing they want. We want justice. Doesn't mean that we're saying the guy's guilty. We try not to lean that way. Didn't try to put our thumb on it and anything. That statement could have went very well, went without Martell Woodard's name in there, but I think that's the low bar that he's talking about. And I don't mind mentioning his name as the catalyst for it, but it's just a reminder, we're not promising, not giving, we're not taking a stand on anything except we want justice too, whatever that looks like. And so I think if you go any further than that, then I think you run the risk of setting some type of precedent or putting your thumb on the
I mean,
scale.
who's to suggest, and what evidence is there that the family is not getting justice?
Well, Tom, I think that with the mere fact that 20 or 30 people come down here every week and throw
I know you went
fastballs,
through
but
it
didn't say
yourself.
that they weren't getting justice. I'm the first one to say that. I said from the dais out there. And justice means different things to different people. Justice to some means, okay, you got somebody brought forward, accountable, arrested, convicted. Justice to others means that you got a civil judgment. So I don't know, but a statement meeting people halfway, not compelling county council to do anything, not compelling, but actually standing with the district attorney and asking for the grace for her to allow to finish her investigation. I think there was a line in there that alluded to that. And so I think it's here. We acknowledge you, is basically what we're saying. We acknowledge you. You come down here, you tell us we stare at you every day. This ain't the stare, this is the resolution. And we understand your, and we followed your opinion. And it was great. I told you there, I thought Tom was great. I think, yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was great. But this thing is moving. And so they're asking us to say something, we'll say something. Might not be what they want to hear. It's not what they want to hear. They sent us what they wanted to hear. I forwarded it to you just now and stuff, but it's something that I think that I would hope that everyone will be able to get around.
Or why don't we get it in writing and circulate it and look at it?
Yeah, I think that'd be best. And so because it wasn't on the agenda, I'm asking that it go on the agenda. And I'm asking that it do get circulated to everyone else. And Tom, if you have an opinion
Well,
on it.
we don't want it to go onto the agenda and lose,
Mhm.
because that would make the council silly. So I don't think it should get on we should put it on the agenda until we know that there's the votes there.
Anybody not feel supportive of a statement affirming justice?
I would have to see the finished statement.
Yeah, and I'll
That's
be
fair.
more than happy to get it to everyone. It's
That's
just something
fair.
that Andre and I've been talking about. But it was, I thought I had it pretty well written, and then the curveball was, I think, this morning or last night, they sent us the email with a resolution that they had written.
I was looking.
Oh,
Unexpected.
yeah, they sent us, and so we were ahead of the curve on
I
it.
haven't seen it.
And
I was
They sent
going
it-
back.
It's pretty sure it was just last night.
And then when you look at theirs, and then you kind of.
This was.
If you want it forwarded to me, I could make a call.
No.
And if we're not addressing an individual or any individuals, and you're just making a statement that we feel bad for what they're going through and for their loss. Are we going to do
Whether
this?
it's them or any other people
Well,
that,
That's,
Oh,
are
I
we gonna do
apologize.
this with every loss?
This was sent to myself,
city?
Andre, and Karen.
And that's the thing I said, I don't want to set precedents and there, ergos, the language being down like it is, it's not climbing all over. it.
yeah, I
The way
think a
Tom-
little more vague and not to take away from it is better for the,
I think once you distribute it to them, they'll be better able to gauge what you're saying, because it's not really I think the only thing in there that says was his name. And so, and that being the catalyst, but I quickly told Councilman Copeland that I want to set a precedence, and that's why the resolution that they sent that you all will get from Karen, although it was well written, it's not anything that I want to start doing, setting that type of precedence, and because we were already fashioning a resolution prior to receiving that. I felt if we're going to do a resolution, it should be something that we resolve.
So Andre just forwarded that to me. They have my email address and they're incorrect, so I did not receive it.
Okay, you got it
So
now?
I
though?
can go copy that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Those two.
Chris,
And I apologize
you were
too.
gonna
I
say
didn't
something
look
like
at the
that.
list. I thought everybody.
No, I'm good. I think you guys. covered the point there.
It would have to be something that Tom would approve of, because he said we should not
that's why, when I say vague,
do that.
that
That's
keeps
why
us
it's
from.
vague, right? So you want me to do it.
Amen.
We already have a problem if we're trying to be that big.
Right.
Well, it's gotta be better than,
And we shouldn't be up
Right.
here if we don't already
That's right.
respect the system.
that's all we're saying. We affirm it. You basically could have just did this pledge of allegiance because you affirm liberty, justice for all. They wrote that thing. Mr. Chair, thank you for indulging me in that. I know it was out of order. It wasn't intended, but you got one more thing.
Okay, well, we had two. Sorry. All right, moving on to number 6, approval extension agreement for 5-year lease renewal with Metro Center Incorporated for the Erie County Office of Drug and Alcohol. Here to speak on that item.
Yeah, I think John's in that is.
Yeah. I'm on still, Scott. So I would start and then I'll hand it off to Scott. But this is an extension of the lease in which we have in the Metro Center with Scott's department. It has grown in utilization over our time there. We were trying to make sure we have the appropriate space for the appropriate staff to ensure that we are serving our drug and alcohol population. This one takes it out 5 years.
Mr. Chair, also remember that even though it's a resolution, it will require 2 readings. And that's based on the more recent decision of last year addressing.
This is a modification to the existing lease. We're taking on more space.
Yes, there's some additional space. Scott's staff has increased over the years and we have not increased the space. This would give appropriate space. He can share with you, he has people on the top of the stairs, under the steps. It is inappropriate for people to be seen, for consumers to be seen that way. We want to make sure that we are doing what is necessary. The folks at Metro did not have space for us before. This space has opened up and they are going to make some small modifications so that Scott's folks can get in there pretty quickly.
Right. Any questions? Okay, moving on to number 7, possible sale of parcel for repository. By Brian Burks, 1047 East 5th Street. Pretty normal stuff. Any questions? Okay, and real quick before we go, is it okay can we extend this just a moment? Continue the conversation? Okay. What's being distributed is what the group from Cello sent to us last night. They included the fact sheet and of this resolution that they wrote, which obviously goes in to say a good deal more. One of the things that I had already told them was number 6 is right out. We don't have any authority to try to legislate requirements for the state law enforcement. But this is a resolution that they asked us to look. I do think it means a good deal more if we write it from our own thoughts.
The act they're talking about, that never made it out.
No, Act 53 is, that is law, but it's enabling legislation only. It doesn't
Right,
require them
Right.
to wear body cameras. It just allows them to, because otherwise it would have been illegal with the 2-party consent.
right.
And I had to explain that to a few people as well. I actually agree with a good deal of the material on their proposed resolution. Maybe we could create some merger of the two things.
I do think we have to be careful or we're gonna be expected to do this with every.
I agree.
Yeah.
I can agree with that,
I agree.
I do think that anytime something comes up, and that's where like, when you start mentioning specific people or organizations, I think the only thing that I can see is, but I do believe, like, I mean, you sit there, they're asking you all these questions, like, you can't really answer or say anything. I understand. I just feel like they just want us to be like, hey man, we hear you and we feel what you're going through, you know. We can't do anything about it. We've made that abundantly clear to them, other than working on, you know, trying to improve going forward with getting the body cams or something like that. And so I do understand. I feel like there's a need to make this statement. I do agree that vague is, see, vague's better and vague's not better. You get too vague and then it's like, you know, I don't know. I like to see it after people give their feedback and it's shared and it hammers out after, you know.
I do think that there is something extraordinary, or maybe unique in this case, where it was under parole officer. That was highly unusual, right? And I do think, given that we have county parole, accepting the fact that this could be an interaction where it could have been a county parole officer, right? That those circumstances could exist. And I think what sets it apart from other officer-involved shootings is, in those cases, they have body cameras. I think that they have better policies, pre-written policies, well and considered, because they've had to deal with more incidents of that, right? So there's a pretty clear, and I think that just making sure that we're taking a look under the hood at parole operations, generally speaking, to make sure that if there's a reform that can be put in place to save a life in the future, that's unique.
Disagree. I think that probation is probation. I think they're under the courts. I think any look under the hood should be by the courts. PCCD, I don't think that we get into day-to-day stuff. And I think it's a slippery slope when you start doing that.
In this instance, this look under the hood is talking to them about getting cameras.
Yeah, well, those
And
are
if we can
budgetary,
encourage them.
well, those are budgetary conversations and they'd be very appropriate, but verbiage kind of matters. And you have to be very, very careful. when you're saying something, and Ellen, I really, really do agree, and I thank you for saying that. Here again, I spoke with Rock while we were drafting this, is why it's so diluted. That's because we don't want to set precedents for everyone to start coming down there.
Well, my other thought too was since you incorporate some of this, but not all of it, are you going to escalate matters?
So I had written the resolution that I read from my phone. What day was that, Andre? Sunday, I think.
Mhm.
Sunday, I think I sent that to Andre. And then here on Wednesday night, they sent us this other resolution, right? That we had no authorship in. That's what they sent us. It was,
But if you do part of it and not all of it, do we run the risk of escalating things?
I think that,
I mean, that's a thought too.
one of the things that I really appreciate when the Black Legislative Caucus came and did the forum, they were very careful in what they said, and they gave hard to listen to news. You know, they said very directly, we're going to have to wait. There is not the state legislature coming in and taking over this process, right? That there's a process to it. And I think as leaders, we could take from what they have in their resolution when it has merit. But like I said, number 6, we don't have that power anyways to compel the state to wear body cameras when they're in Erie County. I don't think that there's a law that we could write that would, an ordinance that we could create that would actually require that. So, you know, of course, we wouldn't be able to do that. But if there's some part of it that people are comfortable with.
Well, whatever it's gonna be, I'd say that get it in front of Tom, get it in front of all of us. Let us look at it. Thing that needs to be, because just watered down, just talking about justice or pursuit of. I don't anticipate being a lot of pushback on it. Verbiage does matter. It has to be something that everyone's comfortable with.
Has this been forwarded or made accessible to the courts so they can take a look at these things and see what, if anything, they want to acknowledge or consider?
We're not representing the courts.
No, I'm saying, but we're
represent
saying that
us.
it falls under the courts, that's what
Yeah.
but has it been suggested that maybe the family or whoever circulated this, the group, that maybe they, pass something on to the court of their concerns that doesn't fall in our.
It has. It has, and I
My question.
prefaced my remarks by saying earlier that, hey, they know that that stuff's up on the second floor, and there's really nothing we can do outside of a letter of support. And this is like not even a letter of support. This is, in the case of most resolutions, if they have that, tend to have that effect. This is just an acknowledgement that, hey, everybody wants justice, and I think it's a layup. It's not a big ask or anything. You just have to be careful not to set any precedent. That you might see some recurrent stuff in the future.
To answer your question for what they said last night, no, I can send this.
Well, that's up to- or if you want to have them send it, if you don't want to be involved, then suggestion, I guess, if you're corresponding with them, to have them send it.
I like Charles' suggestion on that too. He wanted to go, I mean, give them the information where it goes, that we all have to told them. Disseminate that to anyone they want.
Andre, just to clarify, these 2 you sent me were from that group, and I don't have a copy of what you talked about.
Right.
I'll send it
Rock
to you.
should forward that to all.
I will send that as,
I absolutely agree.
I will get that sent.
I said it.
Oh, okay. Before we move, what did you have to?
Well, since this is finance meeting, I just wanted to bring up something that's going on in my district. I spoke with Edna Sharka from the Marina, the commission out there, and they've been working hard trying to secure some funding. They have currently Dr. Amy Bernstein and Edna Sharka have been working with ECRA. They got $100,000 grant that requires a municipal match of 50% or a match, right? And what they intend to use this money for is to hire the consultant. They're coming up with this strategic business plan. Once they have the business plan completed, they can move forward and there's up to $20 million of RACI funds that are gonna open up for them to be able to use to put, you know, the repairs and everything back in the arena. It's a vital part of my district, and it really is a huge economic impact, it's a tourism impact, and I think it affects the entire county. I discussed with them, possibly they could come, they would like to come and talk to us, like, you know, maybe before a meeting. I mean, if there had to be something during the budget sessions, I guess it could be. They don't seem to be up against the timelines where I have to rush to do this like in the next meeting or anything. But they once they know that there's a funding match, they can move forward with this and get this plan rolling. So I guess I just wanted to get that out there for people to think about, you know, $50,000, considering what this is going, you know, to unlock possible funding opportunities. I think is a really great opportunity for us. So
50,000 less 20 million RACI.
yeah, I'd say that even falls. This shouldn't be partisan issue. Like this is.
It's not, it's gonna be a procedural thing because we don't wanna give money out if it's not in the budget, so I think it has to wait until we talk about it in the budget.
I understand that 100%, and that's why I wanted to bring it up so I could get guidance from you guys as to where maybe we need to let this set. I could get the contact information and Karen, she can get them added to one of the meetings that come up, you know, before the budget. They can come down and hear directly from them. That sounds good with everybody. I'm not opposed to that. That's it, you know, walking in the budget, that's the number one thing we got going on right now. I know we're close enough that I can get that as part of the meeting goal. So I just wanted to bring up the opportunity so that, you know.
I will say though that the municipal gap funding that were in my districts were very important to districts as well.
100%, and that's why we're advocates for our districts, and I'm bringing it up now. So I bring all yours. I would love to hear them. I voted to fund, you know, things like the Union City baseball fields and all that outside of my district. I support things that make sense. I think this makes sense, so I just wanted to bring that to the table. So that's all I'm doing.
So Chris, would they have to apply for the grant with the administration? They should do that. And in addition to coming before council, we're gonna have to make an application for it.
And actually, maybe the grants other organizations might be a good place to pay on something like that we have for the, what was the, there was a community something in your district, Ellen, that you added 20 grand for last year. I can't remember, but same kind of deal.
But a lot of the ones that didn't go through, didn't get passed through, were matches and were very important to the people.
I'm not here to argue about that.
No, I'm not, but I'm just bringing that up.
We all have important things that we're voting for, and that's why, you know, it'll come forward and then we'll vote on it.
Jim, you want to take it from here, please?
I'd like to call personnel.
Parcel, what did you say?
Oh, yeah,
Well, we
we didn't do. the
briefly
analysis.
touched on it.
We
I
didn't-
just, I read through it and I didn't think that there were any questions. It was pretty, I felt like we were going along anyway, trying to,
Yeah,
That's
you can-
number 8.
I'm kind
I
of.
stepped out for a minute,
irritated.
but everything's moving forward.
Yes, yes. We'll be probably tabling number 5. But other than that, or no. Yeah, number 5. But we'll keep it on the agenda.
Number 1 on personnel, possible appointment of Thomas J. Sandell to the Erie County Planning Commission, partial term to expire December 31st, 2026. Was by brought forward by Mr. Drexel. Number 2, possible appointment of Junius Johnson to the 4-year term of the Erie County Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission, term to expire December 31st, 2028. Also brought forward by Mr. Drexel. And also brought forward by Mr. Drexel, possible appointment of Sarah L. Bennett, MS, to the Erie County Library Advisory Board, partial term to expire December 31st, 2025. Number 4, possible appointment of Dante Cooley to the Erie County Housing Authority, term to expire December 31st, 2029. That was brought forward by the county executive. Any questions or concerns or on any of those?
Man, you're good.
Got to make up for some of this. Anything else for the good of the order?
Can we do, I think our attorney said he want to update us on some stuff, or we could do it Tuesday?
We could do it Tuesday.
Let's just do it Tuesday.
That works.
Motion to adjourn.
I was gonna add to your meeting, didn't you? I tried.